In this world, beauty can occasionally be a curse. It prevents us from identifying the true monsters. In what has come to be considered as one of Germany's most bizarre and heinous murders, the comments of a fictional serial murderer couldn't have been more accurate. Beneath seductive eyes and a welcoming smile was a sick personality out to hurt someone else for their own gain. It was a homicide unlike any other, something you might only find in a decent thriller book or on a Hollywood movie set. It was a crime done out of desperation by one person. It was only a matter of trusting and having faith in other people's goodness for the victim. But what drove the murderer to carry out such a callous and horrific killing? Hello and welcome to the best crime program on television, MR.HELLSHADOWS, where we discuss closed, open, and bizarre cases. Please think about liking, subscribing, and pressing the notification bell if you haven't already in order to receive the most recent crime news in your inbox. Today, we examine a case with a bizarre turn that will make you wonder why the deed was committed. The Danube River's second-largest German city is Ingolstadt. Gothic-style buildings that dominate the city's skyline have a medieval feel to them. It's not surprising that the city served as inspiration for one of the sites in Mary Shelley's novel Frankenstein and is thought to have been the location of the Illuminati Order's founding in 1776. But today, a murder so heinous that one must hear the entire sordid account to believe it has obscured the majestic grandeur of the city. German beauty blogger Schauerben K's parents called the Bavarian police in a panic just before midnight on August 16, 2022. She informed her parents that she was going to meet her ex-husband in Munich. Her parents became concerned for her safety when she didn't come home as planned and didn't answer or return any of their calls. They decided to go looking for her themselves. They found her Mercedes abandoned in a parking lot for a house close to the Danube River. The body was in the rear seat. When the police opened the door, they saw a horrific scene. It was the body of a young woman whose face had been deformed by stab wounds that were so severe. The car's carpet and seats were covered with blood. Paramedics tried to revive the young woman once the body was removed, but it was too late. Cherubin was recognized by her parents. Due to the force of the stabbing, they were unable to see her face, but her dark hair and figure were unmistakable. The victim's identification was verified after a short inspection of the license plates. According to a press release from the police, a young woman was found slain, and the murder appeared to be the result of a violent crime. In accordance with German legal protocol for a homicide inquiry, the German press revealed only her initial name along with a photo of Cherubin K. Cherubin K., age 23, reportedly resided with her parents in Munich, the capital of Bavaria. According to media accounts, she is of German and Iraqi origin and was previously married. Media reports claim that Cherubin works as a beautician and blogs frequently about it. German officials allegedly spent a lot of her time on social media, while they withheld many details of her private life from the media. Investigators allegedly found 6 knives at the crime scene, none of which were the real weapon used. They also understood that the crime had been committed elsewhere, and the vehicle had been abandoned in the parking lot after the body had been put in the back seat. Detectives combed the nearby wooded area for hints, but nothing, not even the murder weapon, was discovered. The young woman was autopsied, and it was discovered that she had been stabbed a total of 50 times. She had not been assaulted and had no other physical injuries. Her parents had previously identified her, but the detectives needed something more definitive. It was necessary to collect blood samples and fingerprints for DNA analysis and identification. The findings were back in 2 days. Authorities were going through the autopsy reports and getting ready to start looking into who might have wanted Cherubin dead. In a startling twist of fate, the detectives learned that nothing was as it seemed. Everyone was speechless when the case's twist occurred because it was so unbelievable and unexpected. It wasn't Cherubin's body that was found. Despite their relief, her parents were even more perplexed. The question was clear to them and to the investigators. Who was this girl and how did she fit into Cherubin's family tree? Khadija O., a 23-year-old victim, was named. She was a beauty blogger of Algerian descent who resided in Heilbronn, more than 100 miles from Munich. Her private life has not been extensively discussed by investigators. It is known that she used social media platforms to market herself in the beauty sector and built a fan base for her beauty blog. After making this mind-boggling finding, the course of the investigation changed. Cherubin was now being investigated by police as a potential suspect in Khadija's slaying. On August 16, 2022, the police had issued a statement regarding the missing woman. Since then, they have gotten numerous tips and reports of a woman who has been spotted in and around Ingolstadt and bears a startling similarity to the slain woman. Initially, they were dismissed as rumors, but once the DNA result revealed that Cherubin was not the murderer, they started further investigating these sightings. On August 17, 2022, the day after the body was discovered, Cherubin was seen on surveillance camera at a nearby pizza. She had been spotted with a male in the days after Khadija's death was found, authorities learned after analyzing the film and questioning the worker's owner. They discovered the man was a local as well. Further witness interviews led them to Shakir K's residence, a 23-year-old Kosovan resident who is believed to have been Cherubin's boyfriend and lives in Ingolstadt. As it turned out, Shakir's apartment complex was not too far from the crime scene. On August 19, 2022, detectives trailed Shakir to his residence, where they both discovered and apprehended Cherubin. Investigators questioned the couple on their role in Khadija's slaying. At that time, detectives had checked up on Khadija's online persona and learned that in the summer of 2022, she had become friends with Cherubin on Instagram. The police were particularly intrigued by Cherubin's persistent urge to meet in person and their striking similarity, despite the fact that the two women had had countless talks. Next, detectives started investigating Cherubin's online persona. Her image and other bogus identities on various social media sites might be linked thanks to a team of digital forensic analysts. It became apparent that Cherubin and Shakir had searched the internet extensively in search of clones. They allegedly communicated with 5 separate women, all of whom declined their invitations to a face-to-face meeting. The pair was questioned by investigators over a period of time, and they were kept in detention starting in August 2022. Police eventually admitted to the German newspaper The Bild in January 2023 that Cherubin was hunting for a doppelganger to employ in a hoax murder plot. Cherubin was reportedly having a difficult time with her family and was looking for a way out, according to sources. In order to prevent her family from looking for her, she decided to go into hiding and find a lookalike that she could use to fake her own death. Investigators characterized her behavior as egotistical and immoral. The unfortunate woman who fell for Cherubin's trick was Khadija. Police said that Cherubin approached Khadija and asked her to appear in a forthcoming music video while posing as the German rapper Loon. Khadija was able to get in touch with the rapper and left a voicemail asking him to please check it and respond because she was dubious of the invitation. "If you could let me know whether it's true or not, that would be awesome." In response, the rapper warned Khadija not to answer since it was a false sister. When that didn't work, Sharaban offered Khadija a package of cosmetics she was well known for using frequently, an offer she couldn't resist. After assembling all the puzzle pieces, investigators came up with a theory explaining how the couple enticed Khadija to her death. On the morning of August 16, 2022, Sharaban falsely informed her parents that she had an appointment with her ex-husband before leaving for their meeting in Ingolstadt. The two then took a car to Khadija's residence in Heilbronn. They all then proceeded to drive back to Ingolstadt, but they stopped a short distance away in a woodland and lured Khadija out before stabbing her more than 50 times. In an attempt to make Khadija look different, they focused on her face in the hopes that she wouldn't be as recognizable. They killed her with a knife, threw her body into the back seat of the car, and then made their way back to Ingolstadt. In the hopes that it would be discovered and their plan could finally be carried out, they abandoned the car in a parking lot close to a residential area. Unknown to them, detectives used more than simply visual characteristics to identify a homicide victim. Sharaban and Shakir were issued arrest warrants on January 26 and 27, 2023, respectively, and charged with first-degree murder in the death of Khadija O. This followed nearly 5 months of being held in detention on suspicion of homicide without bail. The pair both celebrated their 24th birthdays while inside, and if they were found guilty, they would probably also celebrate their future birthdays behind bars. According to police spokesperson André Sechel, there is a heavy burden of proof. Although the murder weapon has not yet been located, the burden of proof is great. The victim's face was severely wounded, and she died from more than 50 stab wounds. This was quite harsh, he said. Ischel noted that the situation called for skill because it was out of the ordinary in every way. It was a unique case that called for all of the investigators' talents. A case like this doesn't come along very often, especially one with such an amazing twist. We did not anticipate it to go in this manner on the day we discovered the body, he said. When Sharaban's parents understood that their daughter had been killed intentionally, their first elation at seeing their daughter alive faded quickly. Rapper Lunay sent a letter to her fans after learning of the tragedy. There was an attempt to seduce Khadija once more. She had faith in people's inherent goodness, which is why it worked this time. The current example serves as a reminder of the risks associated with social media as well as the fact that bad people might appear innocent. Also, it serves as a warning to anyone who utilizes social media to always be vigilant and cautious while meeting acquaintances online. What are your thoughts on the case of today, then? What might have compelled Sharaban to behave in such a drastic way to flee her family? What do you suppose led Khadija to assume Sharaban wasn't dangerous? Have you ever been in a circumstance that looked ripe with warning signs? Comment below with your thoughts and let us know. Lastly, as always, be careful and safe.